Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video here in New York City. Today I'm going to be offering you guys a guide on everything you need to know about the East Village here in Manhattan, New York City. Before we jump into that, I want to make sure that you guys subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a single video, because I'm basically going to be covering every neighborhood in Manhattan. It's a huge project that I'm working on right now. With that, let's roll the intro. So welcome guys to the East Village here in Manhattan. This is one of the most popular neighborhoods in New York City, specifically in the lower Manhattan area. We're going to be exploring it today and just taking you guys to a bunch of sites. Once again, I just want to remind you, I know I mentioned it already, but this is part of a bigger guide that I'm doing about New York City, basically trying to cover the entire city in as much detailed possibility that I can. So we're just right on the edge right now of the East Village, between the East Village and the Lower East Side, and we're going to be walking in and hitting up some of the most famous sites, food spots, whatever it is that you need to know about visiting this area of New York. And it should be a really good time. I'm excited for it. All right, so for starters, if you come down this alley, we actually have a Michelin star restaurant right here. It's called Momofuku, something like that. And it is one of the highest rated restaurants here in the East Village. As well, you have this amazing kind of mural thing down here on the floor. What's nice about this specific area that I've come to is that there's three kind of important sites right next to each other. I guess important in the sense of what we need to cover. So if you just walk down, find another important site on our list. So right behind me, we have a place called Blue Ribbon Fried Chicken. This is a really, really highly rated fried chicken spot. It's a little early in the morning for fried chicken, so I'm gonna see if I can just get like one piece when I go in there, because I do want to try it, because I've heard a lot of good things, especially from my friend Jacob Carlson, King of the Vlogs. He had recommended this is his favorite fried chicken spot in all of New York. But I'm gonna head on in there and see if we can get some fried chicken. This is supposed to be a really, really highly rated place. All right, that was easy. One piece of fried chicken to start off the day. Let's try it out. Wow, that was interesting fried chicken. Right off the bat, I don't know if I would say that's my favorite, but that's really unique. Very unique fried chicken. I highly recommend coming and check that out. Okay, no time to waste. Let's bounce off to our third spot. So behind me, this epic old looking building is called the Anthology Film Archives. And this is a really good place for you if you're visiting New York City and you want to come catch some old indie movies or new indie movies. They're just doing screenings of movies here all the time. So check out their website or the Google Maps listing, and they'll actually tell you what movies are being screened there. Highly recommend checking it out. But when you go in there, you're gonna be able to see a bunch of different types of movies and cool things. So just make sure you keep an eye out on the different events that are going on, and let's bounce off to our next location. So once again, what I love about doing these neighborhood tours in New York City is that everything becomes a lot more manageable. The thing about New York is that there's a lot of things to see and do, and a lot of them are spread out, but if you break the city up into the different neighborhoods, it becomes a lot more manageable. Though if you break it up like that, it makes life a lot easier when you're traveling here. So right behind me is another one of those places that's not so smart to come to at 11:30 in the morning, but this is a UCB theater. What's really awesome about this place, it's become definitely like my favorite place to go out in New York City, besides that pub that I showed you guys in the Greenwich Village video. If you're coming to New York City and you come from a place where stand-up comedy is not like easily available, I come from Miami where stand-up comedy is not, it's not everywhere like it is in New York City. This place is a really cool place to come kind of get your feet in the water, to kind of feel it out if you've never seen one before. It's a cheap and readily available place for anybody to come and watch up stand-up comedy. But if I remember correctly, it's about every Thursday night they do a really cheap show, and sometimes they even do free stand-up comedy shows. So something that's definitely worth checking out is the UCB Theater here in the East Village. All right, so this next spot is gonna be really cool. It's hidden in one of these really beautiful picturesque streets here in the East Village. Here it is, I found it. Oh, but it's locked. What a bummer. All right, so this place is called Creative Little Garden. It's hidden back here behind this fence, but unfortunately it's not open now in the winter. It does say that they're open every day from 11 a.m. till 1:30 p.m. from April to September. But right now, it's closed because it's snowing. It's full of snow. What a bummer. I really wanted to go in here and explore a little bit. But it's really cool. They have a bunch of benches and cool little knickknacks and stuff hidden inside. But it's not open now, so we gotta head off to our next spot. Alrighty, where I've entered now is called Tompkins Square Park. And it might look familiar to you guys because I've shot quite a few vlogs in here already. So a little bit of history about this place for you. Apparently it used to be very, very dangerous, and it kind of cleaned up its act in the 90s. I think it had like a $2 million restoration project that implemented an awesome dog park. So there's a dog park here now. And also, if you're a tourist here and you need to use a restroom, there are restrooms in this park. They're quite disgusting, but they are there, so you can use them. Just a really nice area to come and chill. Lots of awesome squirrels here too. I filmed that walk and talk about my relationships here, and the squirrels were pestering me the whole time, so It is a cool place. All right, another spot is actually hidden inside of this hot dog place called Criff Dogs. I've actually made a whole video here, and I'm pretty sure that they won my favorite hot dog in New York City. So besides checking out Criff Dogs, inside of here, there's a Speakeasy, which is like a hidden bar called Please Don't Tell. And you have to find it inside of the actual place, but it is in there. So if you want to come to New York, I think you have to make reservations before. But if you're coming to New York City and you want to go to a cool speakeasy bar, it's hidden in a hot dog spot. You can also get a great hot dog on the way. This is another one of those hidden gems of the East Village. So the next thing behind me is not something you would expect to see in New York City, let alone the United States, but it is a Russian and Turkish bathhouse. It's right back there, and from what I read online, it is a really good place to come if you want to get a relaxing but aggressive experience. I don't know exactly what that means. I can't go in just because I don't think I'll be able to film it, so there's no point, but there are pictures online. It's not something you would expect to even find here, I think. It's so crazy. But that being said, we're gonna hop on because there's a few more areas that are really, really cool right here in the immediate surrounding. All right, so another really famous food spot here in the East Village. This place is called Drunken Dumpling, and they're famous for having soup dumplings, which are giant dumplings you can suck soup out of with a straw. And also, it's supposed to be pretty dope at making dumplings. So this is another really cool spot that I think you should check out if you're here in the East Village for food. It is really unique. It's a really cool experience to be able to suck soup out of a straw out of a dumpling. It's an awesome experience. All right, another very unique experience here in the East Village. This is the Museum of American Gangsters. Really, really cool place that details the life and history of American gangsters throughout, you know, the society here in the US. So it's definitely something to check out. If you're here on vacation, I think it could be really cool for you to learn a little bit more about the United States of America and the history of gangsters and immigrants that came over here and became gangs and stuff. It's super, super interesting stuff. I haven't been yet, but I've heard a lot about it, so I'm definitely gonna give it a shot sometime. I don't have time today because we're in a rush, but something you definitely wanna check out here in the East Village. All right, so we've made it to our largest, I guess, monument here in the East Village. This is St. Mark's Church, a very, very old and historic church. And I think it's still an active church, so people still come here and pray. But you have a really nice courtyard outside and nice walking area with cool statues and stuff. It is a very grandiose building here for the East Village. If you don't know, the East Village is not filled with skyscrapers and large buildings. Everything is pretty modest, but when you come and see this church, you know, the top of the church stretches out. I think what I'm standing over right now is a cemetery, and so I'm pretty sure all these are graves for the various people who are buried here. But where we're heading off to next is probably the area that I'm most excited for, because it's one of my favorite areas in New York in general, and definitely in the East Village. All right, so nestled in between St. Mark's Place, which is a street here, and the East 9th Street is what is regarded to as New York City's Little Tokyo. It's pretty much just two cross streets that have some Japanese influence, so you're gonna find a lot of Japanese restaurants and a lot of Japanese stores here in the area. It is very cool. I'm gonna take you guys to a few that I really like. It is the closest you can get to sort of finding a little Tokyo on the East Coast of the United States, in my opinion. This is actually a really famous spot right here. This is a tea house. So you can take the stairs up here, and it is very, very traditional, you know, classic like Japanese tea house. Very, very cool place. All right, so a place that's very near and dear to my heart here in the Little Tokyo of New York City. This place is called Otofuku Medatai. I think I'm pronouncing it right. I'm not Japanese, so I don't know how to pronounce it perfectly, but it is basically a little takoyaki spot and a taiyaki spot. If you guys don't know and didn't watch my Japanese series, takoyaki and taiyaki are two of my favorite little Japanese street food snacks, and I absolutely love them. And to find them in New York City is so cool. And to have a spot that I could actually go and get some taiyaki is awesome. So I'm gonna head in there and show you guys what taiyaki is. All right, after almost 20 minutes, we finally have our taiyaki. So a taiyaki is basically a fish-shaped pancake type waffle thing that's filled with some sort of sweet. So here they either do matcha or Nutella and banana or red bean. And I opted for the red bean one. So good. I love it when places get authenticity right, and they do with the price here, with the flavor, and with the look of the actual restaurant. So it's really awesome. And in this area, you can even find a Japanese supermarket. And I can tell you firsthand, as somebody who was in Japan for almost 2 months, it is as authentic as it gets. They have almost all the products that you would want, including fresh sushi and a bunch of fresh raw cuts of fish. It is a fully functioning Japanese supermarket. It's very, very cool to check out in there. All right, so just a brisk 5-minute walk from the main part of the Little Tokyo here in New York. You'll come to a store called Toy Tokyo. This place is as close as it gets that I found in the United States to like a Japanese anime novelty store. They have everything you want. It's a super expansive store, really cool, and definitely worth checking out if you're already getting into the vibe of the Japanesey parts of town. But this will be our final stop here for the Little Tokyo before we head off to our final destination, for the East Village. All right, so our last spot here on our tour. This one's a bit, I'm gonna be honest, it's a bit of a stupid one. I'm adding it in as a bonus just because the first time I came across this thing here, I kind of freaked out, but it's a pretty funny thing. I don't know why you would want to come and do this, so that's why I'm adding it at the end. It's not important in the slightest, but I'm gonna show it to you anyways. So this thing behind me is called the cube. That's all it really is. It's just the cube sitting in the middle of this square here. And it's really embarrassing that I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna try. You can try and spin it. It's really heavy, but I'll give it a shot so you guys can see what it looks like. That's all that power I have in me. That thing is really heavy. That was super embarrassing. That's the cube though. That is our last thing here on the list in the East Village for you to come visit. I don't know why you would come and visit it, but if you want to try, come spin the cube. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude our guide to the East Village. I hope that helped you guys out if you're planning a visit here. Once again, I think with these videos, the best thing for you to do is pick and choose the things that you really want to do. And just compile them into your own list. And when you do that, you'll be able to find kind of the best unique locations that you want to visit on your particular trip out here. So for one, I want to remind you guys to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a single video, because I'm basically covering all the neighborhoods here in Manhattan and in Brooklyn and in Queens and in the Bronx. It'll be intense. It's going to be a lot of work, but we're going to get it done. So make sure you subscribe for that so you don't miss a single video. Also, if I missed out on anything and you're a local here and you know better than me, just leave it down in the comments so other people can kind of see and engage with that. And that'll be the end of that video. If you guys want to support this channel, you can check out my merchandise down below in the description or on screen right now. I'll see you guys next time. I love you a long time. Goodbye, Clats.